Walsh Show. Okay, I want to talk about 3 kinds of love that should, or we hope, in the best kinds of relationships, should exist in every good relationship. It's funny, I was talking to this guy this week. He said he was talking to his grandparents who just celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary. And he said to his grandmother, "Oh my gosh, was it a happy marriage?" And she looked at him and said, "What does happiness have to do with it?" Because relationships always were arrangements. They were arrangements economically. They were arrangements for division of domestic responsibility. And it is this modern luxury called romantic love that many of us, we're fed into it, of course, by the movie industry telling us that it's got to, feel good and make us happy. Mm-hmm. I want to remind you that relationships don't make you happy, that happy people have happy relationships, that love is an inside job, and it starts with you and you figuring out your stuff, you going for therapy if you need it, and getting happy, because happiness is baggage that you need to drag into a relationship, because you're going to need to unpack those bags plenty of times in a relationship. Now, one of my favorite theorists on the science of love is a guy named Robert Sternberg. And his theory is called the triartic theory of love. And he basically, you can look it up online, he has a triangle. And at the top of the triangle is something he calls passion. And passion is like lust and excitement. And, that you just want to be with the person, you want to touch them, you want to make love with them. That's passion. But then he also talks about intimacy. And when he talks about intimacy, he means emotional intimacy. Being able to trust that someone can hold your feelings, trust that you can share your vulnerable things with somebody and they won't ridicule you or dismiss you, that they'll be able to try to understand what you're feeling. And then commitment. And commitment, he said, is very much of the mind, right? I think someone wrote in last week and said, or maybe it was on my live stream this week, why am I so afraid of, why is commitment so scary? And the truth is, nobody knows what the future is going to hold. And when you stand up an altar and say, we're going to be together until death do us part, it's probably not going to happen. Just to let you know. When till death do us part was invented, death was pretty imminent. So even the most healthy relationships, most monogamous people, those relationships run their course. I think our marriage vows should say something like, I will commit to you, I will honor you, I will respect you for as long as this relationship will last.
For as long as I can tolerate you.
No,
sorry.
For as long as the relationship, every relationship helps us grow, but it runs a course. And we're actually outliving our relationships. Is that because of our extra long life expectancies, people are dying, outliving, and the relationships are dying instead of the other way around, right? Until death do us part. So anyway, what if you could take Robert Sternberg's triartic theory of love and apply it to your relationship? Like say, am I all of these 3 things? So the 3 things would be, am I a good lover with my partner? Am I a good friend of my partner? And are my partners and are we good partners working together with life stuff? Let's go through some of the research that I've read that helps us understand how we can improve that. So let's talk about lovers. Look, one time when I was young, I went to a urologist because I had a bladder infection, happens, UTI. And I said to her, what is the long-term solution for this? What should I be doing? And she said, have you ever heard the story that the day you get married, you take a jar and you put a penny in the jar every time you make love. And then after the first year of marriage, you take a penny out of the jar every time you make love. And I said, how does that heal urinary tract infections? And she said, the first year, you will fill the jar and have lots of antibiotics. And it will take 20 years to empty the jar. So lust goes down. Frequency of sex goes down. This is normal, right? People think that love has died just because those neurohormones of lust calm down a little bit as we But what can we do to keep it alive? More often men ask me that than women. The research shows there are a couple things you can do. One is add some novelty. And when I say novelty, it doesn't mean a third partner. Although some of you might be, I don't know. But it could be swinging from chandeliers in a maid's outfit. I don't know. It could have to do with visual changes. It could be just in a different room. It could be different positions. It could be whatever. Change it up, folks. Change it up. And the second thing is, people think in long-term relationships that sex just happens, that it's spontaneous, just like it happened when you were dating. Nope, it doesn't. You guys are busy. You're working, you're raising kids, you have so much that you have going on. So the answer is you have to schedule it. And that is not unromantic, because often foreplay takes 3 days for women. Like, we got to get our head around it. The room's got to be clean. The laundry has to be clean. The kids have to be taken care of. There's so much that needs to happen. So schedule and novelty. That's how you stay a good lover to your partner. All right. How do you stay good friends? Well, I talked earlier about having emotional affairs potentially with other people in your life. You can't do that. You have to make sure that your partner is your emotional secure base, the person that you go to for emotional support, the person who you can lean on when you've had a bad day. Speaking of which, this week I had a bad day, and my boyfriend Julio also had a bad day. And it was really funny because we both came home and we both had disturbing news. Not hugely disturbing news, lightweight disturbing, but we were grumpy. Okay, both of us were kind of grumpy. And I literally said to him, what do we do if both of us had a bad day? And he said, I don't know. And I said, I think we should just hug each other. And that's what we did. We just held each other. We didn't say anything. I didn't try to console him. He didn't try to console me. I'm like, just let our bodies get all the dopamine or whatever.
Because hugs are medicine.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hugs are medicine. So it's really important that you stay a confidant, that you stay the best friend, and that you're able to give emotional support and not be critical of your partner all the time. And finally, are you a good partner? What is going on with the distribution of workload when it comes to kids, household chores, finances, whatever? Remember, relationships are an exchange of care. That care can take many forms. It can be sexual care, financial care, domestic responsibility care, intellectual stimulation care, emotional support care, sick care, whatever. But does it feel fair? And it never feels fair every single day. When people say, oh, we have a 50-50 relationship, I'm really, which day? Okay? Because it's changing all the time. So sometimes you have to go and rewrite the contract of your relationship to stay a good partner, because we slip into these things where someone seems to be doing more than the other and the other feels a little depleted. So that's what you need to do to keep these 3 relationships alive in your relationship. Are you lovers? Are you friends? And are you good partners? All right. This week I had lunch with a childhood friend, and she confided to me, luckily she doesn't live in this country, so it's okay, that she's going to leave her husband, okay?
Oh, wow.
And I said to her, well, you're right on schedule, because January is known as divorce month. You ask any family attorney, and he will tell you that January is the month where most divorce filings take place. And which gender do you think files the most often, Kayla?
Women.
Of course, women.
Yeah.
We do the work of everything. We do the work in the relationship. We do the work getting out of the relationship. Guys would rather stay in a bad relationship and have an affair on the side more often.
And women leave mentally before they leave physically, right?
Oh, women leave mentally way before they leave physically. It's like that door, that window shuts, and there's almost nothing a guy can do to get her back at that point. All right. How about some things that you could do to prevent divorce? Let's talk about this when we come back. You are listening to the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Right now, let's go to the 24-hour KFI newsroom and Layla Mohammed. Okay. All right, YouTube, we're coming back in a few minutes after the break. Stay with me.